A lot of times I am asked this by viewers, and I also observe it in a lot of people around me, including myself. They ask me, I am so attractive. I make a lot of money. I have a career. I'm stable. I'm nice. I'm talented in this and this. I'm smart. Why won't they like me? Why won't they love me? And the answer is the answer is nobody cares about you. They care about how you make them feel. Falling in love is less about someone being irresistibly drawn to your magnetic attributes, whatever they may be, and more about you making them feel so good, so special, so loved, so important that they fall in love with the feeling that you give them. The truth is, nobody cares about you unless you provide value to them, unless there's some evolutionary reason that overrides this basic human selfishness. This is just how normally we work, especially if you meet on a very impersonal basis as strangers. Then they have even less reason to care about you. Sometimes people complain, I am this and this and this and this, and I am so attractive. Why do all of the girls who I meet, why don't they like me? Well, why should they? When you meet as strangers, no one has any reason to like you, let alone love you, unless you give them reason to, unless you give them feeling that they can be loved in return. And so the only way to make someone actually fall in love with you is by giving them certain feelings, emotional memories that they will never forget, that you cannot wipe from their brain, from their hearts, that are unforgettable and maybe they've never experienced before. And I can give you some anecdotes, little stories to illustrate this. So, first, I just point to myself. There was once a guy who liked me in the beginning, and subconsciously or even consciously, I wanted to impress him. So I was like, I was talking to a bunch of people. I appeared very charming, very sociable. I thought I was, yeah, yeah, yeah. I felt very good. But I noticed that he actually withdrew from me because I made him feel more neglected and insignificant by lavishing my attention on other people. One time I gushed over a certain chess player whose game that like I saw and I really, really admired. I just went on and on. I was like, oh my God, this was so spectacular. And it was my enthusiasm and showing and sharing my joy and in sharing my love for something that is a way that I actually want to connect with somebody. But instead of feeling connected with me, he actually felt more, again, more unloved and insignificant because he would have preferred if I had given the same lavishing, gushing affection, adoration, adulation onto him. If I poured all of that onto him, been like, wow, your games are so amazing. You are so intelligent. You are so talented. If I had given that to him, I'm sure he would have loved it. So it's not about it's not about me. It doesn't matter how amazing I am, how great I am, and how smart and talented and whatever I am, or that I try to appear to be in his eyes even. If I do not make him feel great and important and beautiful and smart, etc., etc., etc. One time he told me, you have no value to me. And it was cold and it was very hurtful. And it was almost unbelievable because it goes against my own personal philosophy. Because in my eyes, people have intrinsic value. and also equal value. So when he says I have no value, at first I'm like, what a what a cold touch. But also, how could that be? But I realized that is the case. I don't have value to him. And so there's so much content out there teaching people these days how to become more high value, whatever that means. But this is very, very significant now. It does not matter how high value you are if you have no value to me. It does not matter how great I wanted to appear for him if I had no value for him. Similarly, okay, there have been people who, I guess I'll go over the negative examples first. Yes, there's a lot of things these days that I see in both men, and I also hear from girlfriends, like tactics that they consciously employ in order to try to appear more attractive in their partner's eyes. What I mean by this is they play these games that are like, okay, I won't text you back. I won't text you in a certain amount of time, or whatever. I want to seem more unavailable so I can seem more valuable. There's a lot of things that teach you like certain little tactics like this to make you seem, and I see a lot of videos like this too, like make them chase you, make them whatever, obsess over you. The thing is, these, what I always say is human relationships are formed on goodness, on trust, on sincerity. They're not formed on tactics. Right? Tactics are tactics, but strategy should be love. So you cannot try to win someone's heart with tactics. There was this boy who I knew liked me a lot. I knew he liked me a lot. But every time that I tried, or I want to say half the time I texted him or called him, whatever, he either ignored me or he didn't respond or didn't respond very fast. And it always left me feeling very confused and anxious. And while it did work a little bit and that it did make me think about this, and what it made me think about was not positive though. It was not the rosy, romantic, oh, I'm falling in love, he's so amazing, this feels so good. It was, oh my God, what the F? Where is he? Why do I feel so abandoned? Why is he neglecting me? What is this? Is he effing with me? Is this like what? Like what? The feeling, the emotional tint of that whole experience is negative, is anxiety, is frustration, is even resentment. And so when I think back to that or my emotional state, I don't think fondly. I'm not building trust. I don't trust the person. And obviously no relationship formed from such a thing. And if it had, it would have been very dysfunctional. So things that are built on tactics like that are essentially manipulative, is not strong enough to actually lead to a secure, trusting base that's necessary for something true. Okay, now let's go to some more positive examples. Examples of when I made someone fall in love or think they were in love, and when I felt love. So when people have felt love for me, it was because I made them feel alive. I made them feel so happy, so taken away. They felt loved as well, and they felt special, and they felt happy, and they felt free, I think, when I look back into certain moments. And so they felt love. And then when I felt love, there are certain moments or certain experiences, right? We can name certain experiences. One time I was leaving, and my dress was almost going to be caught by the door of the car. And he rushed to my side just to tug at my dress because I didn't notice. And he didn't want my dress to get dirty. And just this gesture is imprinted on me. Made me feel, it touched my heart. It made me feel so cared for, so loved. Such tiny, tiny gestures, such tiny moments like this. But when you love someone, you don't even need to say it. Everything pours out through every single pore of your being. And I felt it, yeah, and I remember it. And so when I look back, when I think about him, when I think about the experience, these are moments that I would like to call love. So, how to make someone fall in love is by giving them enough of these experiences, these moments, over and over and over, so that when they think of you, it becomes tied. There's this attachment bond of all of these positive flowing memories of this person gives me feeling of safety, of care, of nurturing, of support, of dependency, of love, of trust, of connection, of everything that is good and positive and sacred. When you build this again and again in enough moments, all of these experiences together lead to a cumulative feeling of love. And thus differs from person to person, but it's always founded on actual sincerity and truth. Because you could try to take this and try to manipulate somebody, but like I said, when you love someone, this emanates from every pore of your being. And you can't actually lie. You can't actually fake it. When it's actually self-serving and it's not actually caring about the other person, when it's more about you, when it's more about you wanting to receive, you wanting to take, you wanting to maybe get access to someone's body or to their care or to their finances, whatever it is, when you have an ulterior motive, sooner or later, these actions or these motives, these impure intentions will show. And this is not just some mystical belief. It is a principle, much like the law of gravity. And you can test this and you can try to observe this in countless examples all around you. For both yourself, you can reflect back to your own experiences and to any experience around you. You can think, when did I have an ulterior motive with someone? When did I not truthfully or sincerely actually care about someone? When was it more about me and my own gratification for my pleasure, gratification for my ego? When was it more about me? And how did this eventually collapse on my face? How did this eventually lead to possibly the most negative toxic dynamic that I could ever produce? Because it wasn't about loving the other person. It was about myself. I can myself think about quite a lot of experiences. So, when you are thinking, why does the other person not love me? First ask yourself, do I love the other person? Do I even care about them? Because if you do, the other person can sense it. And if they cannot receive it, then you can graciously accept that and move on. Because if you actually love them, then you can accept that your love may not be enough or may not suit that person. It's just like a plant. Different plants require different amounts of water. If you're a lush rainforest plant, you may want a lot of water and you transpire a lot of water in a day because you have these large, wide, leafy, green leaves. If you're a desert cactus, having that much water will kill you. So you can have some well-intentioned person coming over trying to drown you with all of their love, but you're killing them. You're killing them. And then are you going to resent them by saying, but I love you so much. Can't you see how much water I'm sharing you with? Well, can't you see that you're killing the other person? If you have the eyes to care for the other person, then you're always attuned to how much or whatever they actually need or want. And if you are actually what they need or want. And if you are not that, then if you love them, then just let it go. Let it go. Because if you don't, then again, it's more about you and not about them. So true love, let it go. Not everyone is suited to everything, right? We can call it fate or destiny, or just in plain speech, just practical terms, compatibility. What is love to one person may be poison to another. Some practical examples, someone who loves, right? If you want to give someone the experience of a lifetime, make them feel super special and loved. But your way of doing that is by taking them to high thrill adventures, to like amusement parks, EDM parties, all of these fancy things. But they prefer just like a quiet stay at your local Barnes and Nobles where none of you guys talk but just like read side by side, then this is the wrong person. This is just not the right fit. So you can have the best of intentions, but you have to see who you're talking to. And the best person for you will be the person you can both love wholeheartedly, and this person can also receive your love wholeheartedly. And I do hope that for you. But in general, the idea, the principle is that if you care about someone, it should be more about the other person and less about your own gratification. And so if I want to come back to a deeper point, a lot of people are confused about this because I think a lot of people who grew up without enough love and validation around them thirst for it so bad. They pretend to be cacti in the desert, but secretly they thirst for validation, for assurance, for love from certain people that they attach themselves to. And the more that they don't get it, the more they want it, the more they want to be seen, to be recognized, the more they want to flaunt and to impress. Look how witty I am. Look how clever I am. Look how funny I am. Look how this, look how beautiful, look how much I work out. The more they want to show off in front of you so that they can get validation, assurance, and all of those good things from you. But the problem with this kind of dynamic or interaction is oftentimes it leads to the opposite results. The other person can sense that you're needing their validation, needing their assurance, and they actually pull away. Why is that? Because as humans, we can almost always subconsciously sense whether or not a person actually cares for us or they care about something they can get from us. And so when I talk about ulterior motive, it's not something necessarily so insidious as, oh, I actually secretly want to like get their life insurance. I actually want to like, just use them for clout. It doesn't have to be something that sinister. It can just be the very human basic desire. I just want them to love me. I just want them to see me. I want them to validate me. I long for it. Why won't you love me? Why won't you see me? You are the replacement for that mother, that father I had who didn't give me enough, and I want you so bad to give me what they didn't give me, to replace what I never had. I want you to give it to me. Why won't you give it to me? But they're not your father. They're not your mother. They don't even care about you at all. It's just the nature of reality, because they don't have that connection with you. And when they sense that you so desperately need it, they know they cannot give it to you. And so the only appropriate response is to just withdraw, to shy away, to hide. And then you feel that terrible suffering inside of you, because then it's like a repetition of what you experienced as a child. I know this happens. And the way out of this is by recognizing it, by seeing this dynamic in the eye, by looking at it, being able to confront it and be able to say, I want to give that to myself. If you believe in God or the universe, I want the universe to give that to me because it exists. The love that I so desperately craved is there right now, and I am loved right now. I have intrinsic value right now. I don't need to prove myself to anyone. I don't need to crave that from anyone. I love myself right now. And when you drop that need for someone to validate you, for them to recognize you and see how great you are, then you don't need to impress anybody, and you can just be an authentic being. It no longer becomes how great you are. And it's more about you wanting to connect and see someone else. And only with this openness, with you already having dropped your own ego pretensions, are you in a state of mind that's actually ready and available and, I don't want to say worthy, and actually yes, ready for love, ready to actually love someone. Because otherwise it becomes more about you wanting your own ego, your own narcissistic reflection shown back at you like a mirror. You're not looking for someone who you can love. You are looking at someone to shine yourself back at you, proving to yourself that you are okay. And I am here to tell you that this person, you do not want this. because this person can either really use you and manipulate you. They can really, really use this need against you, or it doesn't exist. It's built on lies. So, love, wanting to receive love, wanting to be loved, the only way you can do it is by loving someone else as much and more as you love yourself. Nurturing them, caring for them, supporting them, shading over them like you grow a plant. We're going to use a plant metaphor again. Giving nutrients to their soil, tending to their weeds, watering them, nurturing them when they're sick, lavishing praise and music over them so that they flourish. And when they flourish, they provide you with nutrients, with shade, with sustenance. And it goes both ways. That is the interbeing between everyone. That is the interbeing of the world. We're here to love each other, not to demand love to be given to us. And at first it sounds very negative. At first it's almost heartbreaking because you want so badly for someone to give you that unconditional maternal love that a child wants, solely taking and taking and taking without thought of return. But even a child knows to actually return affection eventually. So that's just what we're born as. Thank you. And I hope to answer TLDR, how to make someone fall in love with you is by loving them and, in practical terms, to give them experiences and memories, moments of love over and over that they cannot forget. I wanted to add, it seems so negative and disillusioning, but when you are able to drop your demand that the world loves you, you're able to see with clear eyes how much love already exists. When I said, no one cares about you, not really. The truth is, everyone actually cares so much. There is actually so much love to give. When I talk about you wanting your narcissistic reflection shown back at you, the world is actually already your mirror if you have the eyes to see it. What light you shine upon it is so often reflected back at you. And when I look at the world around me, when I am able to discover that kindness in people and strangers, I see so much love shown right back at me. One time I was in Myanmar. This was, I want to say 10 years ago. About 10 years ago. I was missing a bus. I was about to miss a bus. I was late. I was running. I couldn't find it. I didn't know how to communicate with anyone. I showed my ticket to this stranger who was quite older, like a pretty old man. He immediately took half my bags and started running with me to catch the bus. Total stranger, took my problems as his own, took my burdens as his own, took my baggage with me, ran after the bus as if it were his bus, caught it in time, told the bus driver. Oh no, he actually also called the bus driver to wait for us, and then we ran after it together. That touched the depths of my being. That all these years later, I remember him in his red shirt. I remember this experience, and this entire experience in Myanmar, this beautiful soul that I met, countless strangers in my life who have helped me like that in my time of need and various different moments of my life. Who are they to me? Why do they care about me? But they do. They do. And so we are here to give people that same experience. How delightful, what a joy it is to be able to shine our light for other people too. And when you are able to discover this joy, not just in wanting to just receive and demand, but also to give this joy of light that people shine on you and then you're able to shine on other people. Now we're talking, baby. That is actually true love, the true essence of love, beyond just simple 卿卿我我, beyond 儿女情长, beyond the little human dramas of man woman or man man woman woman or non-binary non-binary, whatever you want to call it, whatever types of clinging romantic obsessions that we may have, there's also a grander universal love that is already there, and you just have to see it. I am here to tell you that it exists. And you don't even need me here to tell you. But if you saw this, then it is definitely a sign that, right, that you can hear this. Okay, that's that.